Welcome back to another conversation with the Brothers of Two Complex. As always, we appreciate you for clicking on the video. But before we get into the content, make sure you like the video, hit that subscribe button. 95% of y'all watching right now are not subscribed. So please help us get to that 600 number and hit that subscribe button. And as always, hit that notification bell so you miss none of the bangers that we drop every single week. We love y'all. God bless. Nickelodeon, man, The Quiet on the Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV just dropped earlier this week. And it was going through a lot of behind the scenes things that has happened on the set of some of your favorite kids TV shows on Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon has been a part of our lives for a long, long time. Now, me personally, I watched for the cartoons. I didn't necessarily watch for the real life TV shows, like your Zack and Cody's, like your iCarly's, that
was a little bit after our time, though. Honestly.
It was because we, that was very much.
You can't tell me you didn't watch all that. You can't tell me.
No, for sure. That's the one I did watch. I did watch those two. I did watch those two, but mostly I was watching Rugrats, Doug, Real Monsters. I was watching the actual cartoons on.
You didn't watch Double Dare. You didn't watch.
I watched Legend of the Hidden Temple. Legend of the Hidden Temple. Yeah. I did, but I did watch those, but they weren't produced by this guy, Dan Schneider. Yeah, right. You feel me? So it was a lot of things that were going on behind the scenes with Dan Schneider and a couple of his constituents, to use an SAT word for y'all who think I'm crazy. A couple of the guys that worked with him, and it was just kind of disturbing. D-Lo, man, what you think about what's been going on over the last few decades with Nickelodeon and with Dan Schneider and how he just treats the kids and the people that's on his staff, man?
So I'm a big proponent of individuals that, this gonna sound crazy.
Got you.
But I'm a big proponent of individuals that didn't get a lot of attention when they were young. When they grow up and have power, they abuse the shit out of that power.
Nigga, before you continue, there was a phrase that came out a couple of years ago that I heard was, you want to test somebody's character, give them power and watch how they treat the less fortunate. That 100%. Was Dan Schneider. That was Dan Schneider, bro. But go ahead.
I'm a big proponent of that because like when we're kids, that's our training ground, right? Mm-hmm. That's where we typically become who we will be in life, or that sets our bearings on how we want to be treated in life or how we don't want to be treated. So if you get a lot of attention in your life, or you get a little bit of attention, enough attention that keeps you comfortable when you're younger, typically that gives you the confidence that you need to remain that person, or to not to be too crazy with. If you do get power when you're older, you become a little bit humble,
right?
Or you grow to be humble. You grow to be typically you grow to be grateful for the things that you have. You grow to have a good understanding of you just have a good character about yourself. Not saying that's always the case, but typically that's the case, right? Mm-hmm. Individuals that don't get a lot of attention, not saying that they always grow up to be somebody that abuses power if they ever get it. They typically are the ones that use the attention that they didn't get as a means to getting to the attention. And then when they get the attention, assert themselves as something that they thought they should be, or they thought that those that have the power should be paying attention to individuals. They typically are mean. They typically are arrogant. They typically, like you said, treat the less fortunate as they are lesser than. They typically put themselves up on a pedestal that they are not.
For sure.
And so that is what we saw with this documentary. It's still not completed. Still a couple episodes will be to be released. But from what we saw in the couple of episodes that we have been able to see, this guy was a real life monster.
Real life.
Almost, I'm almost to the degree of a. No, I'm not even gonna say that. The people around him were of another high profile producer in Hollywood that was a part of the a part of the Me Too era. Almost to that degree. But he was a real life monster, man. The way he was treating people that worked with him, the way he was treating kids, the way he was fostering this toxic environment that he had. It's just crazy, man. And the thing is, you hear about negative things that go on with Hollywood in general and adult stars and the things that they have to deal with, or just people that's in Hollywood that I wouldn't say necessarily the stars, but are on the screens of the movies or the shows that we're watching, or a part of that industry. You hear about everything that goes on behind the scenes. You don't really hear too much about what goes on in children's television. Just like you have a child star who never pans out to be what they are. You don't really know why. And now we're starting to see these are some of the reasons why. It's because of how they're treated, their distrust or mistrust that they have for those that are in power, that are over them. It's just crazy, man. I mean, I urge everybody to go watch it. It's on 100%. Apple TV, HBO Max,
it's on
or Max.
It's
I
on
think
Roku,
it's just called
Roku TV as
Roku
well.
And all of that. What you think about it, though? I mean, you're the one that brought this up. I didn't really know. I saw it 2 months ago. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta watch that, and then completely forgot about it. And then you brought it up. I had to go watch it, and
it's one of those things where it's like you said, man. You want to set somebody's character, give them power, see how they treat the less fortunate. And he was the epitome of that phrase. And to the point where he was telling some of these kids that if you weren't working for me, you'd be flipping burgers, or you'd be working at smoothie, something, just being just dumb rude, and forcing like some of his women employees to give him massages on set, and actually having 2 women work for the price of one. And at one point, like, and they was trying to make sure that they actually sued him for sexism at one point, and being a sexist. And he had a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? He had a lot of quirks about him, as far as like the things that he did on the show. Like, he had a lot of fetishes. That's what I was looking for. He had a lot of fetishes that he would throw in things in a kid's show that adults would be like, okay, that's kind of weird. But he did it in a way that it made it funny for kids, like stuff squirting on some of the girls' faces in the show that was, putting pickles through holes for, like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's just a lot of things that he was doing. And then he wasn't.
Hindsight is 2020, right?
Hindsight is super 2020. Because, like I said, I haven't watched some of these real life shows, like the Zach and Cody's, the Drake and Josh, the iCarly's, I haven't watched those shows, so I didn't see them growing up. Because, like D-Lo said, it was a little bit past our time. We was past that time when it came out, but like D-Lo said, hindsight is super 2020. Because I'm like, dang, bro. Like, not me watching it, I was like, that couldn't have happened on the show. That had to be like an outtake or something. Like, there's no way. Because I didn't watch it. So whenever I'm seeing it, I'm like, damn, he did that. Literally, they aired this episode? Like, really? Right. Like, but it was just the issue with Nickelodeon was that there was just not a lot of safeguards for these kids, as far as how they were protected on set, how they were protected while they were working. Just like kid stars, it seems like a lot of kid stars end up growing up to be kind of fucked up, honestly, bro. Like, it's sad, man, because you see the Olsen twins. You got just like old boy Drake from Drake and Josh, like Drake Bell. He ended up being
Amanda Bynes, the one he
Amanda Bynes, exactly. Amanda Bynes, like the one that he tried to foster and take away from her parents, low key. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like stuff that was going on behind the scenes at Nickelodeon, especially what was it? It was Nick on Sunset. That set right there, that location was really the bad one. That's where a lot of these guys were talking about, like, once it got to Nick on Sunset is whenever everything really went bad. And he came out and did a bullshit apology, low key, with one of the guys who used to work for him. Some dude named what was the name of this dude? Boogie. He used to work on iCarly with Dan Schneider. He did a bullshit. Like, the dude was just throwing them lobs just to figure out how to apologize for things. It was like very unsincere, a lot of bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you can look at the apology and say that it was bullshit. Maybe he was sincere. He just came off as real nonchalant about what he was saying. And again, it wasn't an interview that was like digging into why was this happening? Why did you do this? You know, it was just a lot of lob, like, you know, the massages on set, not cool. That was it. That was the question. Like, what do you do? Dig into this motherfucker. Like, actually ask him some questions to where he has to, like, really give answers for what he was doing, but he was not doing that. He was just lobbing him questions and he was just knocking him out the park like it was softball. But it's just so bad, man. The Drake Bell, that hurt me in a way, because I don't even know if you got that far where he told the story about that, because you said you didn't watch all of them. I ended up getting engulfed in it and watching every single episode of it. But that hurt me because
we stopped right at that one.
Okay.
But I know the gist of it. Go ahead.
Yeah, that hurt me a little bit because it's a situation where it was a father and son, and the dude, Brian Peck, pushed the dad out of the situation, and he ended up losing the relationship with his son. And you know how I am. You know how I am with my daughter. I moved mountains to be with my daughter. So it hurt me because it was like he was pushed out, and all he was trying to do was protect his son. And he started noticing Brian Peck was doing a lot of different things. Brian Peck was the dialogue coach for Dan Schneider on his team. Right. And he was just noticing different things, and like seeing that he was getting a little bit too close to Drake, and seeing that he was touching him in uncomfortable ways that he didn't really like, and started noticing a lot of things about Brian Peck that he didn't like around his son. And then the staff would be like, "Oh, you don't understand that he's a part of the LGBT community. You might just be a little homophobic. Don't worry about it. That's just him, yada, yada, yada." And he kind of like, and the crazy thing is that these parents in this show is just like, well, I don't want to hurt my child's career, so I don't really want to be too loud about it, but I don't like what's going on. So they didn't really know how to handle what was going on behind the scenes at Nickelodeon. So it was like, damn, like, what do you say in that situation? Like, but me? Yeah. Fuck this career. You bugging, bro. Like, Sam might be mad. She might be mad at me for a little bit, but she'll realize down the road that I was just trying to help her. I don't give a fuck about this child star shit. Yo staff is really wilding right now, and I don't mind turning the fuck up if I need to. Yeah. Like, period.
So that one character or actor that was on Wildin' Out, the second version of, not Wildin' Out, I said Wildin' Out, wow. All That, which it's the same type of show. But All That, the second version, I think his name was Brian, the black dude. And he got kicked off the show. And he said, he said he got kicked off the show, didn't really understand why, and then came to realize it was because he felt like it was because of him and his mom. And then she was like, that's when their relationship completely changed. She saw him grow up in that very moment, and she felt bad. But the thing was, there are a lot of rules in place, supposed rules in place for Hollywood or the industry where kids underage, it has to be a parent around them at all times.
100%.
But what they would do is they would kind of usher, from what I'd gathered, they would kind of usher the parents like
out of the situation,
so that they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah.
And then a lot of the craziness was going on. I mean, listen, I have a daughter. She's in acting right now, and that's one of the things we've talked. Me and my wife talked about this a long time ago. It's like, we don't want her to end up in any type of unnecessary situations. We want to allow her to foster her talents, do the things that she would like to do, but to a degree. And there's other decisions that have to be factored in with that. But after watching this, we both was like, Yeah,
we gotta be.
Yeah, we got to be diligent and like on top of everything if
Gotta
we
be.
even allow her to get into any of that.
It's just so crazy, man. But shout out to all of these child stars that have persevered through this whole situation, because they're coming out telling their stories. A lot of the writers coming out telling this, especially the women writers, man, like they were treated so terribly on set and made to do so many different things, and just for his amusement on like behind the scenes. Like, shout out to all, and just to put up with such a volatile work environment is insane within itself, and to be able to persevere through that. It's the Drake Bell conversation. That Drake Bell shit kind of it got to me a little bit. I didn't, I'm a thug, so I ain't say cry nothing like that. You feel me? But like, it's just the father child dynamic to me is what got me. You know what I'm saying? And
man,
the way that he was,
our kids,
we got to protect our kids, bro. Got to protect our kids, man. And the worst part about it was that Brian Peck ended up going to jail for 16 months, got out, and then got a job directly with Disney on The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Like,
this is the thing.
You have a convicted, Geppetto on that went to jail for this and had to register as one when he came out, and you immediately give him a job around other kids. Like, that is the craziest. Yeah. It's just like, what are we doing, bro?
This is my crazy thing about this, and they get on my nerves sometimes. My kids, but I love kids. Like I protect kids, bro.
Me too, bro. For real.
My family is pretty. They've been involved in the community quite some time. My dad was Parks and Recreation.
Shout out, Coach. Shout out, Coach.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher for my whole life. So I understand they're helping and fostering the talents and the beliefs, the abilities of kids moving in the future. So I can understand, being around kids all the time and whatnot. But when somebody harms children, I don't think they should get no less than 15 years. No less than 15 years. One dude was messing with, listen, I know certain things we can say and we can't say. I got to take the filters off of this. One dude was messing with a 9-year-old girl, and he only got 6 years. What are we doing?
A 9-year-old, bro. Like,
what are we doing? They should get no less than 15 years. Because it's just crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. That bothers me.
It does, bro. And he got so comfortable with the family that he was an adult, a grown ass man in the room with the door closed with a 9-year-old child playing video games. Like, come on, G.
Get out of here.
What are we doing? Like, now that right there, that's on the fault of the parents, bro. There's no way I'm letting my child there's no way I'm letting my minor child be with a grown ass man behind closed doors. Period.
Yeah. No, I don't care what he could potentially do for my children down the line. I don't care if he can. I don't care if I think he can get them into
facts. Fuck that career, dog.
Acting industry. Man. Nah, man. Nah.
I promise you.
Listen, you was about to say it, but you didn't say it. I'm not gonna let my child alone in the room with the opposite sex or anybody with the door closed. If they with the same age, keep the door open. I need
to be able to hear, see everything. Everything.
Nah.
Because, bro, I promise you, dog, fuck that career. I promise you, if I heard I would be in jail longer than that man was. I promise you, 6 years, I'm going to jail for life. He ain't even going to jail because he's gonna be under the ground. I promise you.
Crazy, bro. This is crazy.
Bro, my child, bro, is, bro, come on, bro. Like 9 years old, and then you got trophies from all of these kids, like letters and underwear and all this stuff in your house. Like, you are but he reported about.
He wrote it in his. He wrote it in one of his journals.
Yes,
he is
bro.
Full on
pedo, bro.
Crazy.
Full blown. And they got him working around these children at Nickelodeon, bro. Had another dude, unfortunately, was a guy of color, and he was a known offender. and they hired him on the set. Like, what are we doing? Like, these kids are not protected enough, man. And luckily, I
not
guess,
protected.
And back in the day, they were not, because now you see a lot of our child stars fucked up, bro. They fucked up.
Yep.
And it's crazy
you
to
can
see
understand
them, bro.
why.
You can understand why, because there's not
You
enough
can
protection for
understand
them.
why. Yep.
Not enough protection for them,
you
man.
mean, like I said earlier, your younger years is when you really hone in on. I wouldn't say hone in, but that's when you develop the mentality, you develop the character of who you can become, who you are to be in life, right? And if somebody just completely dismantles your trust in authority figures, your trust in adults, dismantles your trust in yourself, what you think's gonna happen to me when I get older? What type of person you think I'm gonna be? Now, everything that I grew up to believe in and grew up to know, I can't trust my parents because they allowed me to be around this. To me, knowingly, parents probably really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Right. But because they allowed me to be around this, now I can't trust them. I can't trust anybody that I work for because it's just your mind is completely messed up. Everybody's
warped,
in it for themselves. I can't trust anybody. This world is crazy.
It's just so bad, man. But again, like I said, man, shout out to all of them for getting through this volatile situation and being able to still be functional members of society. You know what I'm saying? And it's just terrible. I mean, I'll probably still keep checking out the further episodes. I don't know exactly when they come out, but I know there's 4 episodes out
April
now.
7th.
The next one comes out April 7th.
Yeah.
Okay, got you. So I'll probably tune in and see exactly what's going on. Maybe we might do an update on what's going on. But that's basically the gist of everything, though. Like, the work environment was just so messed up. And Dan Schneider was one of those guys who literally took advantage of his power. Like, literally took full advantage of the power that he had with Nickelodeon. Because what D-Lo said, when he was growing up, he just wasn't that guy. He wasn't that guy. He didn't get enough attention. So when he got it and he had that power, took full advantage of it. So Dan Schneider, you need to do a better fucking apology, because that one you did on that little YouTube channel, ass. Terrible.
Man, if they can go back and do and hold Bill Cosby and people like that accountable, they can go back and do what they need to do to him. And listen, there's certain things about the era in which we grew up in that I love and wish we can go back. I'm not a fan of the cancel culture, but there are certain things that I wish never happened, and wish that some of the rules and guidelines that we have in place now, air quotes again, because I don't really know, never been in that industry. I can only imagine that they are trying to clean it up now, that those rules were in place. And so, yeah, some type of legal action ramification has to happen against him, because he was the spearhead of that culture, and potentially even Nickelodeon. I know Nickelodeon isn't as big as it once was. I don't know for sure. My kids don't look at Nickelodeon.
Well, Sam doesn't either.
Yeah, even though, so one of the shows that he created, Victorious, my daughter loves that show. And now, knowing what I know, I'm actually, when she watches it, I'm probably gonna watch it with her and see if I can see some of these quirkiness things that Dan Schneider had going on behind the scenes. But yeah, it's something. Some legal actions need to happen with him, Dan Schneider specifically, and potentially even Nickelodeon, because they gave him the keys to the kingdom. Said, "Yo, you created all that, and Amanda Bynes, create me some more shows." No, they had to know at least some of the toxicity that was going on around him back then. So they allowed him to continue to do it.
That motherfucker Dan Schneider was Scar from Lion King. That nigga turned that kingdom upside down. He was trying to fuck it up, bro. He was fucking it up. He really was. But I mean, you hit the nail on the coffin, man. There has to be something that happens, bro. So